I'm Tim Bradner. Thank you for joining us. This is Capitol Views. We're here with Susan Bell, Commissioner of the Department of Commerce, Community, and Economic Development.
Well, thank
That's
you.
a mouthful. Thank you for joining us, Susan. Susan, your department covers an amazing array of things. It's a miracle you seem to get anything done over there. You're so busy. Energy is one of them. So maybe talk to us about energy.
There's 12 agencies within the department, and I have to say many of our employees, many of our agencies are focused on energy, but there's a few that really stand out. First is the Alaska Energy Authority, and we have a number of programs. When you consider that the state is so vast and our energy resources are so different as you move around the state, we have programs that range from bringing renewable energy projects into our small communities. We have programs where we're replacing the bulk fuel tanks and the rural power system upgrades that can make an immediate 30% reduction in fuel consumption. So again, in a lot of our communities, diesel is the most economical way to power the community, and we've got programs for that, to renewables, to just really focusing on energy efficiency as well. The best dollar is a dollar that's saved by just efficiency in lighting, efficiency in windows, roofs, and a lot of other things. So while AHFC, which is in the Department of Revenue, has a weatherization program for a residential use, Alaska Energy Authority is very aggressive working with commercial users on audits and referring them to financing sources. So again, I've really just scratched the surface for Alaska Energy Authority. That we're also very busy this year with the FERC licensing process for Susitna-Watana. This year we had $95 million in the capital budget. It's 58 studies, very focused on environmental work. So again, there's just lots of programs going on with that one agency alone.
Most recently, you've been sort of the leading agent for the idea of getting help for Fairbanks through the Alaska Industrial Development Authority.
Both, exactly. The Interior Energy Project is something that, with the passage of a bill last year by the legislature, Governor's Bill, Senate Bill 23, we were full speed ahead on something that both AIDA, the Alaska Industrial Development and Export Authority, and the Alaska Energy Authority are working on with the community. The short description of that is that by late in 2015, we will be trucking LNG into Fairbanks. There'll be a liquefaction facility on the North Slope, a regasification facility in the interior, or in Fairbanks. And what's really important about this, because we also certainly have work on a gas line, which I'll talk about in a moment, but by getting that gas into Fairbanks within a couple of years, first of all, we cut the cost compared to diesel in half. And certainly our interior residents, not only in Fairbanks, but those on the road and river system, need that relief. Secondly, by getting the gas into that area sooner, we can help accelerate the development of the distribution system. We know that there's a small number of households, there's about 1,000 or 1,100 that are currently served, but as people become more confident that there's going to be a supply of gas, then that distribution system will be built out.
I was struck by the interesting thing about this is a case where AEA and AIDA are working together hand in hand.
I think it's...
AEA is taking on the Fairbanks distribution part of it, and AIDA is leading on the LNG plant.
Thanks for pointing that out. Yes, AIDA really has the tools to be able to attract the private capital that's needed. We have state funding, but we also are going to need to attract other financing. And so I just believe this is a project where both agencies are really working to their strengths.
And they're really sister agencies, in a sense. They share staff.
They do. They have a shared facility. There are some shared staff. There are some staff in AIDA and AEA that are specific to their projects.
Same boards.
One board, exactly. Dana Pruz is currently our board chair, and there was something that's happened since I've been with the state, and that was a change in the board structure, where there previously were 3 commissioners and 2 members from the public. The legislature changed that in 2010, where we've got 5 members of the public, 2 commissioners, so myself and a representative from Department of Revenue. And again, I really see that focus coming from different perspectives, different backgrounds around the state at the board level, as well as some really skilled staff in both of these sister agencies. I think the Interior Energy Project is really benefiting from that.
And that's the same for both the AIDA board and the AA board.
Correct.
That's
interesting. It serves over both.
Well, Susan, another interesting area you folks cover is tourism.
Certainly.
And what's the tourism outlook, and what's the...
One of the things that, well, first of all, our department role, we implement the state's tourism marketing program. We work really closely with the industry and with the communities on that, and I think it's so important. Just like I was mentioning with the ADA board, we really need to be in touch with the ideas and the needs of the private sector. We work closely with the Alaska Travel Industry Association on getting that input. Also, under Governor Parnell, we've seen two important things. One of them is, it was not that long ago where we lost more than 265,000 visitors, both cruise and non-cruise. That translated into about 5,000 Alaska jobs. So through a combination of increased funding for tourism marketing and increased work with our partners, whether it's cruise lines, tour operators, airlines, we have not come back to the peak levels we had in 2008, but we're getting close. This last year we had 1.84 million visitors year-round, and that compares back to 2007 and 2008 on a year-round basis of 1.95 million. So again, we had a big drop. We're making headway, and under Governor Parnell, with the support of the legislature, we've nearly doubled the investment in marketing, and I think that's really, really critical.
I think tourism has come back, in other words.
Absolutely. We've
That's
seen
great.
new international and domestic air carriers, and again, a restoration of some of the cruise traffic that we've lost, and a real diversification of the market.
That's great. Susan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Susan Bell, Department of Commerce, Community and Economic Development. I'm Tim Bradner with Capital Views. Thank you.